What your favorite World of Warcraft hero says about you. Tyrande Whisperwind. You're really into strong women, but like, really strong women. You fantasize daily about having your head crushed between a pair of muscular feminine thighs. For you, you believe that Tyrande is one of the genuine best written characters in World of Warcraft's lore. Sure, she's strong most of the time, a literal night warrior, but she's also confident in herself enough to be able to let her guard down and just rest in her husband's arms. And that for you, it kind of makes you tear up a little bit inside. You feel this woman's pain and you make it your own with every cinematic that she's in. And also, it goes without saying, you really hate Sylvanas. And for good reason too. Malfurion Stormrage. You're either a longtime druid main, or you're just really into taking naps in the middle of the day. Or maybe you're just the guy in your guild that actually took the time to read the Warcraft lore books to realize what an awesome character Malfurion is. Sadly, in-game, he's not shown to be as cool as he is in the novels, but anyway, you love the idea of peace and balance, but you're also perfectly okay with letting your wife go Super Saiyan and whip everybody's asses while you lie in a bush somewhere communing with a butterfly. You definitely get roasted by your raid team for being way too chill, but you tell yourself that it's just because you're so wise, not lazy. King Varian Wrynn. You watched that one Legion cinematic at least 47 times, my friend, and you know what? You cried every single time. You admire strength, leadership, and epic dad energy. You think for the Alliance is a frickin' personality trait, and every time Anduin speaks today, you whisper to yourself, he's not my true king. Deep down, you still hope that Blizzard will retcon Varian back in some form, but you know that they won't. And if they do, you're praying to your King Varian idol in your bedroom that they don't bring him back as some sort of like undead villain or corrupted whatever, because that would seriously break your heart. And did I mention that Varian fans, they really like football? Jaina Proudmoore. You're a sucker for a good redemption arc, my friend. And sure, Jaina's father was, he was right about literally everything he said, but you ignore that little fact just so that you can appreciate Jaina's story a little bit more. You probably have caught yourself singing, "Beware the daughter of the sea," at random times while driving since Battle for Azeroth, and you think that Kul Tiras should have somehow remained a main faction hub for the Alliance for like forever. You also have very strong opinions about Garrosh and anybody that says he did nothing wrong. And maybe you're right. Maybe. But you're not. Thrall. You're just a simple orc-loving boomer. What can I say? You think Doomhammer is the coolest weapon in the franchise, and you probably have the Lord of the Clans novel sitting on your bookshelf. You miss when Thrall was Green Jesus before he got stuck doing nothing important in the lore, and you wish that Blizzard had truly explored his character's complex relationship with the orcs all the more. After all, Thrall, he was raised by humans and values things like peace and working together in a culture of tribalistic, war-loving orcs. How the heck is Thrall supposed to navigate those waters? Well, somehow he did, and you love him for it. Anduin Wrynn. This guy I cover in my What Your Favorite Warcraft Villain Says About You video. You're the final boss of fun when it comes to this game's universe. You're a force that needs to be destroyed. If you don't think that Anduin is a villain in this game, you're clearly out of your mind and lost, confused, and beyond help. You can watch that video after this one. Sylvanas Windrunner. Dude, I know, yeah, why is Sylvanas on the list? Okay, listen. There are some people out there that for some reason are so blinded by their love of the Forsaken and of Sylvanas that they actually think that somehow this Mary Sue was a hero all along. I don't know why these people exist on the internet. Those of you that argue, red-faced that Sylvanas was one of the good guys all along, but I think you just gone a little crazy behind that computer screen, because wiping out an entire civilization of innocent night elves, that's just totally a cool thing to do, bro, I mean, what's wrong with burning a couple, innocent men, women, and children alive? Whatever. Now, I do admit that Sylvanas in Warcraft 3 and Classic WoW was awesome, but after that, I don't see how you guys are justifying that she was actually the good guy all along. Like, you guys are freaking crazy. Uther the Lightbringer. You believe in honor and virtue and hitting things with a hammer the size of a bullhorn and heat. You're either over 30 years old or you're an old school paladin main who still thinks that Stratholme is the best damn dungeon in World of Warcraft, or you're just some streamer who's so addicted to paladin auto attacks that you think that any class in this game with more than a 2-button rotation in classic WoW, that's way too complicated. You're the one that gets visibly emotional when talking about Arthas, and you're often heard defending him to a degree, saying things like, "He was just a boy, he didn't know." It's like you personally knew the guy. Maybe you're just someone that's too empathetic, that you truly feel Uther's pain deep down. And for that, I think you're one of the most pure souls that play this game. Khadgar. You love wizards, you love memes, and awkward exposition dumps. You're the guy that sits down at the D&D table to play as a wizard just to try and break the reality and rules of the game, just to get a laugh out of everybody. But you know what? You just piss off your DM and you don't get invited back to play anymore, but screw him, am I right? You got World of Warcraft after all. Look, you're just the kind of person who just wants to believe in having a good laugh during difficult times and difficult days and trying to be wise in stressful situations. But deep down, you just really like birds. And you're kind of an idiot. What is it about Khadgar enjoyers though? Like they're all bird enthusiasts. Have you noticed that? Turalyon. You believe that the light, faith, and memorizing Bible verses can fix everything, including awkward character development. You, of course, main a paladin, and you completely reject the idea that everybody pushes that Turalyon is some crazy religious zealot for magical floating space rocks. No, you scream out. He is actually a virtuous warrior of the light, destined to purge all of creation from demon kind. And that is what you tell yourself at Mass every Sunday and at the gym. And then you get home, and you realize how dull of a character Turalyon is, and then you cry a little bit before sipping some Coffee Mancer coffee to get your edge back, which is linked down below in the description. It's our premium coffee, and you should totally drink it, unless you want to end up like Turalyon. And speaking of complete losers, Baine Bloodhoof. You just want everyone to get along. You're tired, fat as hell IRL just like me. You're the mediator in your friend group and play support in every game you touch, because you know that nobody's gonna do it. You know, you kind of hate your life a little bit. Or maybe you just quietly hate everybody around you. Maybe it's both, actually. Listen, you probably have written fan fiction where Baine gets the recognition he deserves. And if Baine Bloodhoof is your favorite hero, somehow you were moved by Baine's rich character development during Shadowlands. And if you're a true World of Warcraft player, you'll understand that joke. Voljin. You're all about that quiet strength, the kind of person that doesn't say much, but when you do, everybody listens. Oh yeah, and you're probably also gonna die like 5 minutes after you achieve your life goal, just like Voljin did after becoming War Chief, so sorry buddy. You were actually sad when Voljin died. You think he deserved better. And you know what? You're right. He actually did deserve better. And you're never going to forgive Blizzard for it. Nor are you going to forgive Blizzard for forgetting that Rexxar exists and barely doing anything with him in World of Warcraft. Oh, and did I mention that you secretly really love Rexxar too? Like you kind of got a little bit of a crush on him. It's a little bit creepy. Alleria Windrunner. You're just here for the drama in this game. The true World of Warcraft endgame is just forcing guilds to disband due to everybody being at each other's throats. You're just a very angry person IRL, what can I say? You picked the Windrunner sister who said, what if I embraced the void and kept my sanity? Of course, you main a ranged DPS, and you have a suspicious number of void-themed transmogs, and you're also quietly hoping that Blizzard somehow lets Alleria become a god of the void in some manner lore-wise down the road. Alexstraza. You're the group mom, the friend who brings snacks, heals everybody, and tells people to touch grass in the nicest possible way. You love nature, dragons, and emotional speeches mid-battle. You probably teared up at least once during Dragonflight, and you will defend Alexstraza against all of her haters, because World of Warcraft truly is a game, at least in your mind, all about becoming one big, dumb family. Or there's the alternative where you're just somebody with a secret vor fetish, because the idea of being eaten by a giant dragon MILF really turns you on. Chromie. You're chaotic good with a little dash of time magic. You love quirky characters and probably have way too much fun with time-walking dungeons. You're someone that thinks skipping to the good part is the good part. What can I say? And you're also a big fan of World of Warcraft lore. And I'm dead serious. Once you tried to explain Warcraft lore to somebody and it did not go very well because you were way too detailed. But hey, who cares, right? Also, gotta say something. Lore Walker Cho, dude, he gets way too much attention to this game. You, Chromie, you should be the star in-game lore teaching character, not him. That is something that all Chromie lovers can agree on. Saurfang. You're probably a dad IRL, or your best friend is a dad. You believe in honor, tradition, and big dramatic sacrifices. You quote, "Honor isn't dead yet." Whenever somebody screws up in your guild and you have to forgive them despite everybody telling you to kick them out, look, you play tanks exclusively, you love slow walking into danger, you walk with your weapon unsheathed for maximum immersion, and you always are a fan of picking the dialogue options that say, "There must be another way." Because for you, life isn't black and white. There's always a wise, reasonable middle ground, which likely will just lead to you being blown up by a banshee one day. Genn Greymane, you are fueled by pure rage. You never let go of grudges, especially not undead-related ones. You chose your main to be a worgen simply because they can snarl, just like you do IRL whenever you get killed in PvP, or your boss calls you to come into work on your day off because your coworker bailed suddenly. But you're loyal, trustworthy, and you love kids. But you're angry. And honestly, you're kind of terrifying, especially after you drink too much whiskey. People really should avoid you on those nights. Rexxar, you're a lone wolf. Literally. You play beast mastery only, and you have a spiritual connection to every animal in your stable in game, and every animal at your local park. You think civilization is fake and gay, and probably spend half your WoW time AFK in the woods somewhere. You also probably have a bear tattoo on your arm, or some weird-ass Native American design going on your leg or on your back, because nature, dude. Dude, nature, bro, dude. Velen, you're the philosopher of the group, the ancient wisdom and cosmic awareness type who everybody comes to for advice. That is until you start quoting Julius Evola and everyone gets a little suspicious and a little bit scared. You only play healers, and Invader Zim was your jam growing up because spaceships. You really have a thing for spaceships and aliens, what can I say? Deep down though, you're just the guy that's really sad all the time because you're waiting for Blizzard to give Velen another major lore moment. And you know what? Velen deserves it, and so do you. But you know what else you deserve? That's right, faster leveling, easy gold making, that pet and mount that you've always wanted. You need Zygor, World of Warcraft's ultimate guide on, the sponsor of this channel, which is linked down below in the description. Use code Nixxiom for 20% off after you check it out. Cenarius, you're the ultimate druid fan. But like, you're like the druid fan. You still call Elune the Mother Moon, and you probably have a tattoo of a leaf somewhere on your body. Because nature, bro. Like, dude, nature. You like your heroes ancient and cryptic, and apparently made of vines, and you're still mad about Grommash stabbing Cenarius, you know, that one time? Well, I think we're all kind of mad about that. Also, you probably listen to a lot of Fawn in your free time, Omnia or Wardruna, to reconnect with the spirits of the squirrels outside your window. The weed actually also helps, now that I think about it. Wrathion, you like them cocky, complicated, annoying, and maybe a little evil. You're into morally gray characters who flirt with both destruction and redemption. You play rogues and warlocks exclusively, and you probably dream about black dragons doing questionable things to your body while you're restrained on a table. Let's be honest, the only reason why Wrathion is your favorite is because you think he's hot. You would eat an egg off of his steamy chest because you're just kind of weird. Mekkatorque, you love gadgets, explosions, leaving offerings of milk and honey on the windowsill for tomtes because you live in some Swedish forest somewhere far away that nobody can pronounce. You're the kind of player who reads every tooltip, shares memes that nobody finds funny, and you get mad when people say that gnomes aren't cool. Like me. You're also very angry that we still haven't seen a fully CGI gnome in a WoW cinematic, even after 20 years. But hey, maybe we'll see one in another 20 years' time. You never know. Magni Bronzebeard. You're nostalgic for those old days, but you're also really confused half the time. You kind of understand what's going on in the lore. It's like this rock man talks to a planet and tells you about the rock people, but honestly, you don't really care all that much. You just want to drink beer, play WoW, watch football on your TV while on your computer, and just think about Moira's big dwarven titties. You're also a big fan of Minecraft for some unknown reason, okay? As well as my What Your Favorite Warcraft Villain Says About You video, which I talked about earlier, which is on your screen right now for you to watch next. Guys, did I perfectly describe you and your favorite hero in World of Warcraft? Let me know down in the comment section below, and thanks for watching.